Like, she's like, you're not gonna have a big ass booty, you know, like a bonbon booty, but we can do something nice. And I said, okay, yeah, well, fine, because I don't really want a big ass booty. I don't want to look like Nicki Minaj. Hell no. I just want a rounder and perky ass, and if you can give me that, I'm happy with that. And she's like, yeah, you know, definitely we can work with that. We can work with what you have. Although if you can get more weight, that would be great. And I was like, again, like, okay, I try, you know, I told the other lady I'm trying. And she's like, well, just keep trying, you know, try to eat more and this and that. And I'm like, okay, fine. Well, then let's go ahead and do it. And so they gave me finally my surgery day, which was on July. But then I had a major situation and I was not able to go under surgery that date. They were kind enough to move my date, you know, because it was on a special occasion. They usually don't do that. They don't move the dates, you know. They tell you if you are not able to come that day, you know, you're gonna lose your money. But since it was in a special situation, I had to move it one more month. So I moved it for August 7th. And I was like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna get my surgery that day no matter what. And then I started eating even more because I was like frustrated. Like, come on, I don't want to get there and they're gonna be like, bitch, you're still skinny. You know, I didn't want that. So I was eating more and more and more and more. And finally, you know, oh no, oh yeah. Since it's been so long, right, because my first labs, my first results, I got them in April. I had to redo them again. It's because obviously they have to be, the least I think is a month, but they rather if you can, you know, get tested 10 days the most before the surgery. So I got tested again a week before. Thank God everything was fine, you know. I didn't have any problems. My hemo was fine and everything seems to be fine. So yeah, finally the day arrived and I was supposed to be there at 9. The surgery was scheduled at 10, but you have to be there 1 hour early because you have to talk to the surgeon, you have to get your faja, you have to get like marked and stuff, and you have to sign these it's like a no the contract. Oh yeah, you have to sign a contract. I signed the contract when I first went there, and then they give you another set of like stuff talking about the procedure, what's involved, you know, the possible complications and everything you need to know. So it's like, it was a lot of pages. I didn't read it all. I was like, just saying. You know, I just read the important part. After that, I had to go with somebody, and they asked me not to bring any nail polish, and I had to have my hair tied, and I had to bring a bunch of stuff and like comfortable stuff, you know, like I was wearing my slippers and whatever. They finally called me, and I saw my surgeon. Surprisingly, it wasn't the same lady I talked to. It was a different surgeon. But you know, I didn't care much. He looked like, you know, he knew what he was doing, and he was nice. So I was like, okay, well, you know, they have like, I think they have like 4 surgeons there, and you know, not necessarily the one you talked in the beginning is the one you're gonna end up with. That's my case. I talked to a female doctor and I ended up with a male doctor, which turned out to be great. Like, I'm so glad I got him because he is so talented. He really knows what he's doing. Like, I love him. I'm in love with him, seriously. So he's like, oh, hi, my name is Henry and I'm gonna be your surgeon and I'm gonna ask you a few questions. And then he started asking me about, you know, my medical background, my family medical background. And this is something very important, guys. When they ask you, don't hold anything. You gotta be honest because it's your life, whether it's a risk. You're gonna be the one going under the knife. Not the knife, but you know what I mean. Like, you're gonna go on a surgery, and everybody knows any surgery has a risk. No matter how small it is, there is a risk. And the doctors, they go by what you told them, you know, what you tell them. If you lie, if you hide stuff, you know, God knows what can happen. So you gotta be honest. So I would say, you know, I was trying to be honest with him the most I could. And then once, you know, asked me everything he needed to ask and try to get as much information from me as he could. Then he asked me to come into this room. He asked me to strip down. And I was like, yeah. Not like that, but I was like, okay, all right. So I started taking my clothes off, and he's like, okay, so what is it that you want today? And I was like, well, I just want you to give me a round, perky booty. That's what I want. I don't necessarily want a big ass booty. And he's like, uh, you're too skinny. And I was like, oh my God, seriously? I didn't say it like that, but I was like, yeah, I've been told that before. And I gained weight, actually. I gained 8 pounds. And he's like, and he's looking at me like, okay, uh, I wish you gained more weight. And I'm like, I try. I'm like, you have no idea. Just at this point, I don't care. Just do whatever you can with what you have. Just whatever. Just please, just use whatever I have. Take it from anywhere. You can poke me everywhere in my body. I don't care. And he's like, okay, I mean, I can still do what you ask me. And I'm like, okay, good. And so he marked me, he started marking me everywhere, blah, blah, blah. And then he asked me to put this, like, blue rub on. And then, like, these, like, they're, like, shoes, but they're not shoes. I don't know how they're called, for your feet so you don't get dirty in there. Not get dirty, but, it's, like, an area where they have to keep it free from bacteria, And so he's like, oh, I just wanted to let you know that it's going to be cold in there because we need to keep it cold. So you're going to be cold during the whole procedure. And also, you're going to be awake. We're going to give you something to drug you a little bit. And then we're going to put the spinal thingy, the shot, I don't know how it's called. So to numb the area. And he's like, and you're going to feel the pressure. You're going to feel the pressure of the cannula. And, but you're not going to feel any pain. And he's like, you may feel something uncomfortable up here because the anesthesia, it reaches up there, but not as much as in the lower part. So you may feel uncomfortable like there. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I don't care. And so I went in the operations room. They put me in the bed, and then there's like 3 people in there. And the ladies, there's one lady trying to put the IV on me. She couldn't find my veins, so she had to poke me 3 times. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I was like, boom, oh, no. And boom, again and again. And I was like, okay, did you find it now? I'm going to look like a freaking, I don't know. And she was a sweetheart, though. She finally got it. And then, I was just, like, laying there. And then they were, like, petting my head, like, oh, it's going to be good. You're going to look so great. And I was like, and then out of the sudden, I started feeling like I was, like, falling in a hole, like, yeah. And I was like going down, like, yeah. And it feels so good. I was like, oh yeah, this feels good. And they were like laughing because I was like, I guess my face was so relaxing, like, yeah. And then like I just remember feeling the pressure and seeing the doctor going back and forth with the cannula. In my head, it was like 50 minutes, but the operation lasted like 3 hours and a half. It's just that, I don't know. To me, there were like 50 minutes. I remember I was like, like they were moving me and I was just like, yeah. And it felt so good. I was actually enjoying it, the whole thing. Like, because I don't know. It felt good to me. It did hurt a little bit, I have to admit, up here, as he said. Like, it was kind of uncomfortable. And I remember I said like, it's hurting me. And then they moved me, and I don't remember. I just remember when they asked me to stand up. They were like, okay, lady, it's time to, go outside. You look great. And I was like, I remember I saw the doctor, and I was like, hey, did you take some fat out of me? Did I had enough? And he's like, yeah, baby, yes, you had enough. And I was like, okay. I was so concerned about them not be able to extract enough fat from me. But he's like, yo, no, you good, lady, you good. And I'm like, okay. And I put me in a wheelchair, took me out of it, and put me in this room, the recovery room. And there's another lady there that just got, I think she got a surgery. I think she got the BBL and a tummy tuck, if I'm not mistaken. And, we were like talking, like chit-chat talking. And then I had to reach something from my back, and I stood up, and then I got lightheaded, and I was like, oh damn, like fuck. And I was like, and then the lady's like, no, don't do that, go back to the bed, what are you doing? And I was like, I just need something from my back. And and I was carrying the IV with the pole thing, and I was like, it was just hilarious. I could have fall, like that was dumb. So don't do that. Like, don't try to stand up and try to play, Wonder Woman. Um, Anyways, I stayed there for quite a bit. The nurse came over and she was checking on me all the time. I don't remember her name. She's such a sweetheart. Like, they were so nice to me. They were like, "Oh, baby, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I'm hungry." Well, I think I'm hungry. And she's like, "Oh, let me get you something." And she got me something. And she was like really like trying to be there for me. And then she's like, "Just let me know when you feel okay. When you feel okay, then we can take you out of here." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was still kind of druggy, so I was like staying there for a little bit, and I got lightheaded a lot. I actually talked about it in one of my other videos. It's called First Day Post Up. You will see my face. Like, I was, oh my gosh, yeah. Well, when I first got out of the surgery room, I wasn't as bad. I was okay, but then it's just that I was getting lightheaded and dizzy and just feeling bad, and so I had to stay there for like 3 more hours, like 3 more hours, 3 4 hours. I don't remember. It was a long time. And then when I finally got out of there, they put me in the wheelchair. My son and my sister were waiting for me outside. And then, they took me out to the car. And we took an Uber, by the way. And I couldn't walk. Like, seriously. I didn't know how dizzy I was until I tried to stand up from the chair. And I was like, and I was like going downstairs, like, oh my gosh. Well, long story short, well, I talk about this in my other video about the first day. I fainted like 3 or 4 times, like, seriously. Like, I couldn't be standing up. Like, I will stand up, okay, I will be sitting or laying down, and I'm okay. But then the moment I will stand up, I would just like fall to the ground, like like a building, like going down. It was horrible. Like, the first day, I think, is the worst to me. Some people, they talk about the second day, whatever, third day, whatever. To me, the first day was hell on earth. Like, I got home, I fainted on the door. My sister had to, like, I don't know how she had the strength to like pull me and put me on the sofa, and I was just like there, like dead. And I had to wait for my boyfriend to come back home and take me upstairs because, like, I wasn't able to walk. I remember he took me to the bathroom, right? And I was like, I broke down right there. I was like, "Oh, why did I do this? Why? I didn't need this. Why did I do this? Why?" And I was just like crying and crying because I felt so bad. And I was like, "Oh my God."